everyone, it's me, Nina, and today I thought that I would just go ahead and make a little video. I'm going to be making that squash meal. Doesn't really have a name, but it's the one that we both really love, and it's really good for you, the one with the hamburger and the rice and tomatoes. So I thought I would go ahead and just take you guys with me today in my kitchen. Come on in, join me. You guys can help cook and then eat some dinner if you'd like. Wouldn't that be nice if we did have a big enough place for people to come and eat and, you know, just help cook? That would be fun. I also wanted to go ahead and update everyone. I haven't made a video in a few days. Steve has been, well, I wouldn't say under the weather. Do you remember a few weeks ago he had that really bad cold, and he was tested for the virus and did not have it. So we were so thankful for that. But since then, he's just not been really feeling that great. And he had some complaints and was telling me about them the other day. And I thought to myself, you know, being a diabetic, it sounded like to me that he was having issues with his blood sugar. So I got my tester out and tested his blood, and it would not even read on my machine. So I knew it just kept saying high. So yeah, that was a big concern. So we waited for a few minutes and tried it again, and it was almost 600. So, you know, he's never been a diabetic, and the only time that he had to take any type of medication for diabetes was after he had his liver transplant. And a lot of times that happens when you go through any type of a major surgery like that. My dad wasn't a diabetic until after he had had his open heart surgery. And that's happened to, you know, a lot of people that we know. So I ended up giving Steve some units of my insulin to get that down quickly, because of course it scared me. And he already, even though he's 8 years out on having his transplant, he still battles. His kidneys they've never bounced back, and they won't bounce back. You know, a liver can heal itself a little bit, and that's the only organ that can. So with his kidneys, you know, he's very careful about what even what he drinks. He drinks mostly water, and once in a while milk, and once in a great while he'll have a diet pop. So we ended up calling his doctors that are up in Cleveland, his transplant team, his coordinator, I should say, and we also called our family doctor, and just, you know, wondering what to do, because we know that a lot of the ERs have a lot of sickness and a lot of the virus going around and different variants of that. And even though Steve has had both of his vaccines for it, it's still a scary thing when you are on any type of medication like Steve that will help try to keep his body from rejecting his liver. He takes the anti-rejection medication, and that's another thing that probably, you know, could have happened over the last few days. They have lowered him down again, and it's a very long story. If you're interested in it, I can make another video, but I'll just say it, you know, the fast version. Because Steve, after his transplant, he got a disease called GVHD, and it's different for people that have had liver transplants. A lot of people that have like leukemia and undergo like a stem cell transplant, they do end up getting that. But with a transplant, for your liver transplant, if you get it, your chances are very, very low of surviving it. Well, we're happy to say that God took care of Steve once again, and that was like a month after his transplant when he got sick with that. He lost close to 100 pounds within that month, and yeah, he was very, very ill. So, but because of having that and having survived it, his body now doesn't need as much of the medication to keep him from getting, you know, rejecting the liver, which is a good thing. So all of that happened. I believe God made it happen for a reason, because now that anti-rejection medication has a lot of things that it can do to your body. It's known for, ruining your kidneys, which are already bad, and it's also known to cause cancer and a lot of other things. So it's a good thing that they're going to try and get him down on that medication. Well, with that being said, we ended up taking him to the ER. Both the clinic and the doctor's office told us to get him to the ER, and we did. So yesterday we spent, which was Thursday, today is Friday, we spent quite a long time. They did a whole lot of tests, blood tests, chest x-rays. They wanted to see how his heart looked and his lungs. He was breathing good and everything. So everything looked good as far as that goes. His sugar was still extremely high. And so they ended up putting him on 2 different types of oral medication. And they wanted me to continue to watch over, his sugar numbers. And if need be, I can give him a low dose of insulin. So he's been watching, being very careful today. I'm getting ready, like I said, to fix dinner. And he has pills to take with that. Well, we got a call just not too long ago, and it was that coordinator again. And she said that they were not happy with his liver numbers. There are, I think I counted this morning, 5 or 6 tests that were only tests on his liver. And the thing that I was concerned about, I know I have a lot of medical things, and I don't mean to throw them out, it's just that I've lived through this with him for so many years that, so if I say an initial of something like the GVHD, you're welcome to look all that up. Just know that you're going to be looking it up for someone that has undergone a liver transplant. And then this next disease that I was worried about, because it will also make your liver not be able to use the insulin in your own body. It will use the fat in your body. And Steve had lost, within that week and a half or 2 weeks, he had lost 20 pounds. So I knew something was going on. Well, they tested and said that they do not believe that he has that. And that is GDA, I think, or GKA. I can look that up and put it in above here. But the coordinator did say that all of his liver numbers were not good, which I already knew, because they had, we have a thing that's called My Chart, and I was able to go on to Steve's record today. And since they had done them all yesterday, they were all done and on record, and I was able to read them all, and they were not good. And I knew that. So I told Steve to make sure that his coordinator was getting both hospitals, because he has blood work done still all the time for Cleveland Clinic, even though we are not close to them. That is where he had his transplant. So he has blood work done here around in our area, and they get the results for that. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to get the results that they would get regularly through, their Cleveland Clinic site, but also through one of the local hospitals. So yeah, so I was right. They were not real good. So, but what we're going to do is, instead of raising him back up on that anti-rejection medicine, they're going to wait a week and do blood work again. And see how it's doing. We're not sure, and they're not sure, if the lowering of the medication has caused his liver to not process the sugar the way it should, and that caused everything to be off kilter, or if it was because of his liver dropping down in that medication that caused his diabetes to, go crazy, which he didn't have diabetes, but you know what I mean. It's one or the other. I don't know why he would all of a sudden have numbers that are, so high, and without even eating junk or anything. He hasn't had any candy or no sweets or anything, and nothing that we did was bringing it down at all, except for the insulin. So, hopefully now we're going to check out these pills, find out how they're doing. And I believe that's about all. I guess the reason that I wanted to share all that is that you guys share our lives, and I want to be honest and sincere, and you know, when it comes about our health, because I know that we have some prayer warriors out there that pray for us every day, and so I knew that if I shared it, there'd be some extra prayer warriors out there praying for Steve, and praying that this week we will find out for sure. Now, me, as far as someone that has researched a lot about liver, I kind of feel like it's the liver, that the liver is a little angry from, you know, having that medication pulled, and therefore it's not processing the sugars and the natural insulin in Steve, that it is eating the fat and trying to process that. So that's just me. I'm not a doctor, of course. So my theory is, I believe that they're going to have to up him again a little bit. Not that much, but he'll probably have to stay there for longer than a couple months to get his liver stabilized. And I hope that that's what they can do, if that's the problem. So, all right. Just, you know, wanted to share that with you guys. So let's go ahead and get dinner started. Now, I do know, let me get my hair pulled back here. I do know that rice will raise your sugar if you're a diabetic. So we are still going to have a little bit of rice in the dish, but instead of having a couple cups, we're only going to do just the 1 cup of rice. I've already got it poured out here. And, you know, the rest of the meal, it's got that really good hamburger that we bought off that guy that raises his own cattle. So we're going to be using that. And, of course, we are using the last of my squash that I really loved. We did go out today to the Amish place and got a couple more different squash. I got let me show you. I got a small spaghetti squash, and that's because spaghetti is also will really raise your blood sugar. So that way we can make spaghetti and use that squash instead of the noodles. But anyway, this recipe, if you guys want to end up making it, I have a video where I made this recipe, and today we're just going to be chit-chatting as you guys cook with me. So let's go ahead and just get started. Alright, as the other one was, we're just going to cut this, and we'll use strips of it. I love that color, so pretty. It honestly, I think what happened with this is, I'm not going to be able to pull that through. It smells a lot like our cantaloupe. And I think that this plant, there's only one plant, cross-pollinated between the squash it was supposed to be and a cantaloupe. I really think that that's what happened, because it smells like a cantaloupe a lot. I never have gotten that other cutting board. I was going to sand it down a little bit and then get some more of that oil stuff that you buy for cutting boards, but I've never even seen any of that. I'll probably have to end up looking on Amazon or something. I don't know. Seems like a lot's been, you know, lots been going on. Been very, not really, I guess busy, but not as busy as I should be. Just emotionally a lot going on, I think. Also, I was going to say about this, the harder part doesn't smell like as much as of a cantaloupe, but that inside part here, the guts of it, that's what I call it, that's the part that really smells strong. But I also noticed that most squash are really, really hard compared to this. So I think it picked up a little of the characteristics of not being quite so hard, which is okay with me. Yeah, not near as hard to cut as a lot of the squash. This is also the meal that you might remember that you can just make it in one pot, which I like to cook that way. I have a dishwasher now, but I don't wash my pans in it. I do those by hand. So we're going to get the hamburger started. And then we'll put the squash and everything else in here. Okay, that is pretty much done. So all that we have to do now is just start dumping everything in here. So let's go ahead and start with the squash. And then I've got 2 cans of the diced tomatoes. You can use whole tomatoes right out of the garden if you've got any. We've got a couple sitting here, but I don't want to use them for this because they're nice and big. And the diced tomatoes turn out great in this. So we're also going to go ahead and add that cup of rice. I'm going to add 2 cups of hot water for right now. And when you got everything in there, you want the water to be up covering the food. That's about good so far. Alright, we're also going to use, it says to use fresh mint. I don't have any. I just use this organic dried mint because I'll probably have to buy some more of that. It takes quite a bit to really get that good taste in there. The hamburger's still on the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like this. Cover it up. And you are going to do what I would call a heavy simmer. Just keep coming back and stirring it every little bit. I see the chickens out there. Yeah. Yesterday it rained all day, and today it's been absolutely beautiful. So Steve wanted to let him out because tomorrow it's going to rain again. They can hear me, the window's open. Romeo's probably like, hey, what's going on? I love looking out my kitchen window and seeing them. Had to put my prayer plant here. It was dying. I took it out of the dirt and the roots were dying. Mom had potted it for me. So what I did was I took it out and just put it in this water. And as you can see, it's rooting. Got some really nice roots going on. So I'm going to repot that here. I don't know, today or maybe this weekend. And dinner is done. I didn't make cornbread or anything to go with it since it's got the rice. But yeah, you guys should try this. I really think it's delicious and pretty healthy for you. So, alright everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye. God bless you all.